Hello there and welcome to today's class, which is called Fancy Fold for the Fellas. Now this caused a little bit of confusion. Basically it's a fancy fold class combined with male themed cards, which sometimes we can find to be a struggle to make. So I thought I'd take on the challenge and come up with three fairly fancy, not too fancy fold cards, two of which are new to me, on a male theme. So I'm going to be, on this first video, I'm going to be sharing the pack for the lovely ladies who have taken part in my class. Now I must introduce myself. My name is Kettlewell and I'm a Stampin' Up demonstrator in the UK, and my business is called The Paper Haven, and I do in-person classes, but I also do a lot of online classes, one of which you're watching now. So I'm going to, in this first video, I shall be going through the pack that the ladies got included, and we will be making, excuse me, card number 1. And then at the end of that video, I will give you a time of when card number 2 is going to go live, and likewise when card number 3 is going to go live. If you haven't taken part in this class, then you can grab your own supplies and craft along with us. I would always recommend that you sign up for my classes if you want to take part, because I send the kits out and I may be using things that you don't have, and yeah, it's good to be involved, isn't it? So as part of the class, a full pack of the Beauty of the Earth papers were included. I've obviously used quite a few of these. You can find these in our annual catalogue, and they are really near the front, and it's the suite that's on page 10 and 11. And I have to say, I've had these since probably July, and it's the first time I have used the dies, and I've never used the stamps. We're not using the stamps today, we are using the dies, and of course the papers. If you want to see the papers in more detail, you can see them on page 130. They are 12 by 12 and they are double-sided, and you can see a little bit of a bigger image here, but there's lots of card ideas and inspiration with them here. So in your pack, so they are the papers. Some of you didn't get the papers included. I did you a bespoke price because you already have them, so that's fine. In your pack, we have, okay, a sheet of soft suede, a sheet of old olive, 2 sheets of early espresso, a sheet of crumb cake, and a sheet of basic white thin. And you will also find half a sheet as well for another project. I decided that 1.5, you needed 1.5. You probably have card left over, and that's all good. Okay, you also have an A5 envelope, because we're going to make an A5 card. This is a non-Stampin' Up envelope, shock horror, but we don't sell them, so I had to source them from elsewhere. You've also got a square envelope for another project, and then you have one of our Stampin' Up envelopes, and gosh, they're so much smoother and nicer to stamp on than the other ones. In here, we have lots of bits and bobs that I've tucked away, hidden inside here. We have some denim ribbon that's made a comeback. It's going to be in the new mini catalogue. And then I have cut you 2 trees out from the papers, in case you didn't have the dies. You may have the papers, but you may not have had the dies, and you may not be able to cut those out. So I've cut you out 2 tree, like the leaves, the foliage of the tree, and I've cut you 2 plain trees. Okay. Excuse me, I've got a bit of a cough today. I've also cut you out a stitch so sweetly die in crumb cake, and a mini one in white, basic white. And this is retired, but I still use them and keep them. I've also cut this in cherry cobbler out for you. Okay, now the stamps that I am using for this class are the Biggest Wish stamp set, which I think is a great one for general birthday cards. And it's not too flouncy, so it's not too feminine, if that's, I suppose, what I'm trying to say. I like the solid font with just a little bit of a fancy script to go alongside it. Now, I think that's all I need to go through. These are the dies that I've used. These are the Beautiful Trees dies. Oops. Okay, I'm probably not showing them off to their best, but these are the ones at this side that I've used today in the class. So, I've gone through the pack with you, and what I do need to say is, if I'm too fast for you, it's just, I try to slow down, but sometimes I talk fast and I craft quickly. So if that's the case, you can pause this, you can talk to me in the chat, please do, and you can rewind. You can drag the cursor at the bottom along and rewind. Okay, so that's the beauty of doing it like this. We can pause and we can rewind, and I then allow a little bit of time in between the projects for you to then catch up if necessary, or have a little natural break, or make a cuppa, or, you know, hang the washing out, put the tumble dryer on, whatever. You will need, if you're crafting along with me, you will need your trusty trimmer, and your friends today, particularly for one of the projects, are going to be a pencil and a ruler. Cannot stress that enough. It would have helped if I'd have got my trusty trimmer out. I hadn't, but I have now. Okay, so we're going to start with the first card. Fortunately, this is the warm-up card, and I have made this one before. I don't have this card to show you because I've given it to my son for his birthday. So by the powers of technology, I will endeavour to edit this video and share a little photo with you now of the card that we are going to make. So that was the card that we're going to make. It is the A5 card, and I'm going to start making that with you now. For this card, I've used the full sheet of A4. I've also used some old olive, and I've also used a little bit of early espresso. Okay, so those are the 3 cards that you need. For the papers, you can use whatever you fancy, but we do need to use the sky one. Oops. Okay, I have used the wooden one. Yep, and I'm just trying to make sure that I have enough left for other projects. I've still got a full sky one, that's good. We could use this one, but we are going to use the other side, but you've got a full pack, so that's all good. I'm going to keep the sky one out. Actually, I've got a piece of this that's left, so we're all good actually with that. We should have plenty. So I'm using fairly plain ones for this card. Now, as you can see, for this card, it is a cricket themed card. Cricket is massive in my family. In fact, I actually used to play cricket in a ladies team. If you don't want to do a cricket themed card, that is what I'm going to be doing and showing you how to make. If you don't want to do that, that's absolutely fine. You can do the skeleton of the card, if you want to call it that. You can do the base of the card, and then you could decorate it in whatever way you wanted to. So you could, if you've got the tree dies or tree stamps, something like that, you can do it that way. Okay, so it's no pressure, no problem if you don't want to do, if you don't know anybody who's into cricket. I thought it would be nice to do that with you. So I am going to take my trimmer, and I'm actually going to score first, and I'm going to put it in landscape, so horizontally, and I'm going to score at 14.8. okay, and then I'm going to move that score line to 9 centimeters. Okay, and then I'm going to cut it And we're left with this. And this is going to be really useful to do our cricket stumps or wickets, okay? And then you can fold that over. So let's just measure, check that that is 9. Yeah, it's as good as. Okay. So that's the first part of our card. Then we're going to grab that sheet of old olive and we're going to cut it in half, again putting it in at the same measurement, doing it landscape, horizontally. We're going to cut at 14.8. So we've got half here that we're not using at the moment. And then we are going to score this at 10.5. And this is a basic C6 A6 size card. And that is going to sit, that will sit in there like that, okay? And now we need to cut our extra bits, yeah? This is where the sheet of espresso comes in handy, all right? So, what we need for the front, we need our blue sky, but it'd be nice to do a little border behind it. Likewise here and likewise here. So what I am going to do, remember that measurement, measured 9 across and it measures 21 down. So I am going to cut this at 8.5. Again, I'm putting it in landscape. I'm going to cut this at 8.5. And then open up the arm on the trimmer. And I'm going to cut it at 20.5. So I've taken 0.5 off. So we're doing all our cardstock, and I'm praying that I've given you enough cardstock. Okay, so that's going to go on there like that. All right. Mine could probably do with a little sniff of it. So let me just see if I can. Yeah, that's better. All right, so we've done that, yeah? That's going to be our background here. And then it'd be quite nice to have that same early espresso on the back here. So, oh, I need to just check which is my 21. That's that. So I'll cut that. We're going to do this 20.5. So we can just take half off there. And the measurement across the back there is 14.8. So we're going to take it to 14.3. And then we have that goes on the back. So we've got both of our pieces there like so. It's coming along, gang, it's coming along. We then need to do the front of our card. Okay. And we're going to take this, do you remember this A5 piece of basic white? This is already cut in half for you, but we're going to cut this down and we're going to have this on the front here. Okay, so we're going to cut this at 10. And you need that for your second card. We're going to cut it at 10 and we're going to cut it at 14.3. So I will, while I'm on, I should be watching this at home with you on the chat, so I will endeavour to type those comments in, to type those measurements. Okay, so that's all our card cut, yeah? And now we are going to cut our paper. Now I think this could be left over, yeah, and it's the correct size. So I want you to cut the blue piece and I want you to cut it to 9.5 wide and 13.8 tall, like that. All right, there's a lot of cutting for this one, a lot of prep work. Promise you it does get easier. And then if you find a piece of green, it doesn't matter, you can use this one, yeah. But I found this lovely scrap. This is going to be the grass, and it's quite nice because it's like patterned, yeah. You could use some of your old olive that you've got left over, but I thought for this one I'd use some of the patterned paper. So again, I'm going to cut this to 9.5 in width. And the height wise, it's about 1.125 or 1.25 inches. This is for the grass. Okay. And then finally, for the pieces at the back, at the front and at the back, we're going to cut 2 last pieces of paper. This one is going to be 8 centimetres wide. That's 8 centimetres by 20. Phew. 8 centimetres by 20. And then finally, oh, actually, I've cut that wrong. Maybe I wanted the brown one there. Yeah. Oh, well, I've done it now. So I wanted the brown one at the front, but that's fine. And we'll cut this 13.8 by 20. Just do what you want. So I will type these measurements in the comments. I appreciate I've gone quite quickly there for you. I did, actually, I'll let you catch up. I'll do a bit of talking. I did a virtual Stampin' Up event last weekend, and we had to craft along. And oh my goodness, I suddenly realised how my customers must feel, because I was getting behind. Had a bit of an epiphany moment. So we have got everything here ready to go. Okay. And we're just going to stick all these bits together. I keep having to look up on the video because I've got quite low storage on my phone, and I keep having to delete loads of things off my phone. And Craig and I were filming a paper crafts and piano, like a pre-record the other week, and it just stopped filming because I'd run out of storage. So it's something that I'm really aware of now, and I keep looking. And I'm going to glue that on the back. Like that. Okay. I might end up liking it like this way rather than the way I was originally going to do it. So that's glued on there. I'm just going to check something actually on my laptop. Did that help you to catch up? I had to check I forgot what time. I'm pre-recording it and forgot what time this class was scheduled for. And I thought, well, I'm sure it's 10:30. So I'm trying to work out in my head when I'm doing the next video, you see. I do love this sky paper. I think it's fantastic. I just thought I'd put the white behind it this time for a bit of a pop of colour, just to brighten it up. Now, just to make you aware, you'll think, Julie, why have you got your card opening that way? It has to go that way. It opens the opposite way. Probably not going to glue this on onto the main structure of the card until the end, when I've done all the elements. But what happens is that opens like that, and then that slots in the other way. So that green piece there glues onto there. You write your message in there, you see, and then that will glue on there like that. Okay. But I want to construct the cricket stuff, all right? So we've got this little strip, and it's the same size. I had to laugh because when I gave Evan this card, he was laughing and he was like, oh, that grass could do, but a cricket term for the main part of the field is called the outfield, for anyone who's a cricket fan. And then you've got the wicket or the square. So he said it's a bit of a long outfield, that. It could do with the groundsman's not being on the case. But I was like, well, it's a card. It's a card, Evan. So I'm cutting down just different widths, little blades of grass. Like that. Okay. And then I'm just going to glue the bottom sort of centimetre where I've not cut down, so that you can get some dimension on these. You can curl them up a little bit if you want to, like that, you know, to make it a little bit more interesting. You could even cut some of the blades sort of on an angle if you wanted to. Right, so that's ready to go. Now, in that little pack, in that envelope, which I've lost, do you remember we had that cherry cobbler stitched shape? That circle. Well, that's going to be your rather large cricket ball. And I'm going to take a cherry cobbler ink pad. Now, this does make all the difference. And a sponge dauber. You could use a normal sponge. Trying to find one that I've used red on. It's here. Tap that in there, and I'm going to really go for it and do a lot of inking. Give it a really good just tidy up a little bit. Okay, so I've done a lot of ink in there, and the ball does look a bit weathered, and that's actually what happens with cricket balls. You know, they do get weathered. They get rubbed on trousers by the bowlers. They get a lot of stick. So you need a decent black pen. A Stampin' Right marker would be excellent. I couldn't find mine. And we're going to do some stitching, and I just want you to draw little dashes sort of on an angle, coming down on a curve, yeah, like that. Again, like I said, you don't have to do this if you've got the dies. Let's do another set. Let's do 3 stitches. If you've got the dies, you can, the tree dies, you can put tree on the card. Okay, so I've just made the cricket ball like that. All right. And it does go nice with the blue background. Right, now we need to make the stumps or the wicket. Stumps is a bit of a colloquial term for them. Where did I put, what's there? We had this piece of crumb cake left over, didn't we? Oh, now, Julie, you forgot to get your crumb cake ink pad out. Let me just go get that. So we're going to cut some stumps. Now, I just sort of guess what the height I want them to be. I'm going to cut them at 9. Okay, I'm going to cut this at 9, and then I'm going to cut 3 1 centimetre strips. And I always use this side of the trimmer when I'm doing the 1 centimetre ones. Okay, I'm going to pop them on my card and see how tall they are. While I'm here, I'm going to turn that round and cut 2 more 1 centimetre ones. They're probably a little bit wide. Sorry, I'm getting WhatsApp messages from a group that I'm in, and and I'm trying to get rid of them, but then I'm worried about stopping the video. Okay, so these get tucked under here. Now, that's probably about the right size. I could maybe shave a centimetre off them. So what I'm going to do, to make sure they're all the same size, I'm going to put them on top of each other and just cut a little bit off, like that. And then, whilst I've got them like that, I'm going to round the edges. Oh, I'm getting lots of WhatsApps. Go away, please. Should have turned notifications off for filming. And the reason why I'm doing this is because the stumps are sort of rounded at the top. So I've done that. Okay, we've got our stumps. And then these are a bit wide. So these probably want to be, let me just look, about 2 centimetres wide, maybe a bit shorter. And again, I've put these on top of each other, and I'm just going to round the corners of them with my scissors. Like that. All right. They're not perfect, but it's a handmade card. Okay, so we've got the ball there. So then we're going to take crumb cake ink pad, if you have this. This does make all the difference too. And see if I have got a dauber that's had crumb cake on it. No, this one's had green on, but I'll try and use just one end. And I'm going to ink. And the success of this, doing this, the inking makes all the difference. If I put it down there, it makes it pop. You do get messy. Oops, sorry, I moved my camera, I didn't realise. I'm having to stand up and do this because my camera bracket's quite high today to get the table in better. And I can't see when I'm sat down. So I've done most of this card stood up. And of course I want to check that my filming hasn't gone off. So that's one. Do any of you have cricket fans in your family and friends? Give me a comment if you do, if you've got someone in mind to make this card for. I appreciate that you might not, but I mean, if anybody's watching from the US, you might not even know what cricket is. The closest thing that I would compare it to is baseball, but it's so not like baseball, but that is the closest thing I would compare it to. It's a very British English sport. My boys have been playing cricket. Well, my eldest played cricket since he was 5. The interesting thing, this is a fun fact, when he was born, that was in the days of the local paper and things like that. My mum and dad put a birth announcement in the local paper, you know, sort of proud grandparents and everything. And instead of a teddy bear image in the corner, they had a cricketer. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pop those. I like to just pop them in first, and I'm not doing them straight. I'm doing them like as if the balls hit them. So they've been bowled out, yeah? And the stumps are flying like this, you see? Like that. Okay. And then the ball. Now, you've got to bear in mind, the ball is rather large for the stumps, but it's, you know, we have crafty license, yeah? Okay. So what I'm going to do there is I'll take them out one at a time. Oh my goodness, these WhatsApps are going bananas. Okay. And I can't see the clock then on my filming. Note to self, turn off the notifications next time, Julie. These are sort of being knocked off, so this means this batsman is out because the bails are flying. Okay, and the ball is going to be here, and then I'm going to leave a little bit of room for a greeting. All right, now I'm going to pop the cricket ball, or we used to call them a corky ball. I don't know if you've ever heard that expression. I'm going to pop that up on some dimensionals like that. Okay, now if you've got the Playful Alphabet set, what's really nice is if you've got a short name, like I've made this card before for someone called Sam, and I've cut some crumb cake, and we have a little bit of crumb cake left, which will be perfect for it. In fact, we've got a couple of bits left to put a very short name there, or if you want to put numbers there for a special birthday, you can put that there. Okay, but what I've not got my mat out. What I'm going to do is I'm going to attempt to stamp the happy birthday and fit it on, but I'm not sure how that's going to work. So I'm going to grab my stamps. I do like the bold birthday, and that's not going to fit. So let's see if we can have a workaround on this. That will fit. And we could do it. We could cut it out. Oh, I've had an idea. I've had an idea, a little exclusive idea. I'm going to stamp the happy there. And this is just totally off the top of my head now, thinking about it. So I don't think I have allowed for any white card, but I'm sure you've got a scrap of white that you could stamp birthday on somewhere. I'm going to take cherry cobbler. No, actually, I'm going to stamp with espresso. I'm going to grab a block. Okay. And hope this works. And I'm going to try and get the happy there. And then I'm going to cut this out from some white and put it across. Okay? So I always do a practice. It's not bad. And I've got my mat as well. So I'm stamping straight onto the sky. And I'm really pleased with that. Really pleased with that. And then I'm going to take some scrap white. Let me find the scrap box. Because I have just done this sentiment off the hoof, or as the saying goes. So I'm going to take the birthday, the wiggly birthday, and the cherry cobbler, because I want to bring some more colour in. And I'm going to, oops, I've not used my mat. I'm going to stamp that like that. And I'm going to cut this out. Now, it's a little bit tricky, but it looks effective when you've done it. So I'm leaving a little bit of white space around, and I'm just letting my scissors just stay quite still, and I'm moving the card rather than the scissors. Just be careful not to cut anything off. There we go. And I'm going to position that on there like that. I think it would be best glued down rather than foam padded because it's quite intricate. So we'll take a little bit of glue. And pop that there. Like that. Yeah. And now we can stick this to our... Now that would look nice as a card on its own, you know, as an A6 card. Would look nice as a little card on its own. I know some of my customers like me to do a bigger card from time to time. So that's going to stick on there like that. Now all I do is actually glue the back. And then get it where I want it in the back, checking that those measurements are a similar gap and these ones are similar. Open it up. This is where you can write your greeting. Now, if you wanted to, you could grab another piece of white and decorate inside. And then we close it like that. You've seen it? And there we have our card. So I hope you've gotten okay with that. I think I've worked out that I've probably been nearly 40 minutes with that, which would make it now 10:30, so 11:15. So we will do the next card at 10:30. And the next one is a bit trickier. And the next one you need your pencil and your ruler for. You need a pencil and ruler for the next one. Okay. Would you like a sneak peek? Come back and join me at 10:30. This will be the next card. And this slides off, and it's an angle card. You can have it either way. Okay, so we're going to do that one at 11:30. I'll just leave it like that for now. So I'll see you then. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.